Afternoon and good evening. I know those of you that are part of this conversation are spread out all over the world, and thus I introduce and kick this off with a greeting in every time zone. Anyways, it is a pleasure to be with you all here today. Welcome to this ninja training. I love these times because we're able to get together and we talk about really good subjects and with good takeaways. So, the net result is you're a better developer as you take this advice, as you listen to it and follow through with it. So, today we have a very special guest. His name is Michał Biarda. I have the pleasure of working with this guy every day. He has reviewed my code. He has fixed my bugs. He is an ace developer, just a genuine nice guy, and also a rock star with his development capabilities. All that to say, I'm really excited to have him on to be able to talk about spaghetti code. I love how he says spaghetti code. So we'll listen to that here coming up in a minute. Before we get started, though, as always, make sure that you do subscribe to the SwiftOtter channel. Just click that subscribe button and also the like on this video as well. While you're at it, I always appreciate that just to help us know what type of content is helpful, meaningful to you all. If you're a manager that is listening to this and you're like a team lead or something like that, if you give this link to your people or even just like say, hey, come on right now, join into this conversation, you're going to be, your team will do better coding. And so in other words, taking an hour of their time is definitely worth it. So do that and you will be rewarded. Welcome. I say Amit is here, and I think everybody else is joining in as we get started. So I think without further ado, we're going to, I'd like to introduce and bring onto the stage Michał Biarda. And welcome, Michał. How are you doing? Good to have you on today, my friend.
Hi, Joseph. Hi, everyone. Thank you for this warm welcome. And yeah, maybe I am saying spaghetti in a weird way, but you are
That's
saying
not a weird way. It's fun.
yeah,
Like us, people from the United States. I feel like from many places in the United States have like this flat way we say stuff. I guess I feel like that coming from the Midwest. New York have people from New York and like the East, Northeast have their own accent. The South has their own accent. And so like from Midwest on West, I don't feel like there's like any accent. Of course, UK does. And so you being from Poland, and speaking English, you bring your own accent to the table. So I honestly, I love studying accents, learning from people and all that. So all that to say, I love how you say spaghetti code.
yeah. So what I wanted just to say is that I love how you say Biarda.
Oh, okay. Well, how do you say it? Let me know how you say your name.
Yeah, it's Michał Biarda.
Okay.
All
I
right.
I won't try
I
saying that.
guess.
I'll butcher it. Anyways,
All
well,
right.
you're gonna talk about spaghetti code, huh?
All right.
Take it away. Take it away. Here we go.
So, guys, today we will try to work with some spaghetti code, and I will teach you how to straighten the spaghetti code with something called solid. So, all right. So, thanks to this training, you will understand what the spaghetti code is, why it is bad, and how to refactor it so it is nice and cool. And well, everyone knows what spaghetti is, and it's yummy, right? Look at this plate. But what if one of your guests doesn't eat meat, and you serve this plate? So what will you do? Or what if some other guest wants each noodle to be longer? Because why not? And at least, what if your 3-year-old cousin simply has to know how many noodles are on the plate? How to do that when you have spaghetti? Well, the answer is simple. You have to do this. So your hands will be dirty, or you have to create the whole dish from scratch. And this analogy is good for your code too. If your code is spaghetti, and if other people want to do something with your code, or you want to do something with your code, you would like to extend it, or some other people would like to change something in your code, they will definitely need to make their hands dirty or rewrite everything from scratch, because they won't be able to simply work with this code. So what can we do? We can fix spaghetti code with solid. And what is this solid? Most probably you all guys have heard the term solid principles. This is the acronym for single responsibility principle, open close principle, list of substitution, interface segregation, and dependency inversion. And I am not going to go through each of them and give you the definition, because you can find it in the internet. I just would like to focus on the first two, because I believe that they are the most important ones. And simply by using these two principles, we will be able to make to straighten our spaghetti code so it looks nice and cool. And without further ado, let's do some coding. So let me switch here. And by the way, I created some Magento 2 module with just some spaghetti code. And there is a GitHub repository in which you can find the code from this presentation, and in which also in the refactoring branch, there is the end result of the training. So if you don't follow something right now, don't worry. You will be able to go to the GitHub later and check how it should look like. All right. So what the module is about? It is very simple. It adds some post-registration activities for your Magento. And let me show some example. I will register as Michał Biarda. I use michalswiftotter.com email, some password, some password again, create account. Oh, it's not the same. All right, and see what happened. This is the standard Magento success message after registration. And these are some things added by the module. So as you can see, there is a message, hello, fellow author. And this appeared because I used swiftotter.com domain in my email address. This appeared because my first name is Michał. And this appeared because there is a special promo for first 20 customers. And also, you may have noticed that I'm on some 10th customer CMS page. This appeared because I was a lucky guy and I'm the 10th customer in the in our store. So all these things were added by the module. And let's go to the code. Let's quickly review it before refactoring and before explaining why it needs to be refactored. So in this module, here in app code SwiftOtter Spaghetti, there is just one plugin, and the plugin is for create post controller for Magento customer module. And what it does, After the code is executed, it is checking if there was a success. So we are getting the message manager and then checking if the last message is success. And if yes, then we are running some kind of checks and some kind of actions. So here I am checking if my email ends with SwiftOtter, here if my first name is Michał, and so on and so on. And the code works, which is good. And you obviously seen that it worked. It worked just fine. But what is the problem with this code? Remember the analogy with the actual spaghetti and your guests? So let's imagine that someone would like to add another action like that. And by someone, I don't mean someone from your team, but for example, someone from an external team that doesn't has access to your SwiftOtter spaghetti module. So what can they do? They can plug in the execute. They can copy paste some code here from here to their code and basically reuse the logic, which is, I don't know, not so cool. They can also create a preference for our plugin. Simply copy paste everything, add one additional action. But as you probably know, preferences are super bad for this kind of things, because when it is preferenced by their module, then the other guys will not be able to create their own preferences. There will be some conflicts. So this is one example. Second example, let's imagine that we would like to add some logging mechanism to every action. So for example, before each action or after each action, we would like to log if it was triggered or not. So with this code, we will need to add this in multiple places. And there is a possibility that we will forget about one place or the other. Maybe not with this simple code, but if there were not 4 actions, but let's say 40 actions, then this would be very prone for human errors. So as you can see, something is definitely wrong with this code. And what could we do? I mentioned these 2 most important solid principles. One is single responsibility, and the other is open-closed. So with single responsibility, I will create a lot of tiny classes with tiny methods, each of them doing just one thing. And then I will refactor this method so it uses these small guys in a very smart way. And I guess that after this longish introduction, let's do some coding. All right. The first thing, instead of editing the create post plugin, I will create another plugin. So I have 2 copies, the old one and the new one. And to do so, I will go to the create post. I will find the execute method. And I will create a new plugin using this fancy Magento 2 PHP Storm module. If you haven't installed it yet, please do. It has a lot of fancy features. For example, creating new plugins directly from your PHP Storm. So here it will be SwiftOtter Spaghetti. It needs to be added to frontend. After and now, what I like to do about my plugins in Magento is to name them very specifically. So instead of creating this plugin controller account create post plugin class, I would create something with a name that is self-descriptive. Because right now, when you simply look at this plugin controller account create post plugin, you have no idea what this code does. But if you create something like trigger post registration activities, then automatically you will know what the plugin is about, because it is not as important for what path the plugin is. It is more important to understand your code, to know what the code does, and simply by reading trigger post registration activities, you will have more data than by reading this. Another convention that I like is to name my plugins by copy pasting module in which the plugin is, and then copy pasting this name. Let me click OK. And as you can see here, in Spaghetti plugin folder, this trigger post registration activities has been created. We just add declare strict types. And we have this empty after execute method in which we can put our code. So what I will do at the very beginning, I will simply copy paste everything from here. All right. And now let's do our job. So what this method does. So after it checks if it should be run, so if the registration finished with success, it is iterating through some actions or activities, you can call them like that. And at first, it is validating if the action is applicable, and then it is running the action. So here we are running the action. Here we are checking if it is applicable. Here we are checking if it is applicable. Here we are running the action, and so on. So as you can see, each of these blocks are somehow similar, and they are doing logically the same thing. And of course, each of them is doing in practice completely different things, because this one is adding some notice message, this one is getting some coupon, this one is redirecting but theoretically they are doing all the same. They are just checking something, some condition, and then they are running some action. And why I am saying this? Because if you have something like this in your code, so multiple places that does something similar or something or the same things, this should ring a bell, and this would probably lead you to create some common interface for this kind of action. So let me create this interface. And because I want this feature to be globally expandable, I would create it in API folder. So how can I call it? Let's call it post registration activity interface. All right. So we have this interface. And the interface should have two methods, one for checking, the other one for running. So let's do the methods. So the check method, let's call it is applicable. And I don't know yet what the argument should be, so let's leave it for now. But I do know that it will return Boolean. And the other one would be, let's say, execute. So why not? And also, I don't know yet what the arguments will be, but it will return nothing. So it will be return type of void. All right. So what next? Let's go here and let's use this post-registration activity interface. So I told you that here we are here we have plenty of these activities. So we could have some kind of array of these activities and then simply iterate through them. And the array of activities could be actually injected in our constructor. So each activity could be injected to this array of activities. And thanks to the dependency injection, if someone wants to add their own activity, they will be able to do so using dependency injection. So let me add an array of activities. Yes. And it is empty at the very beginning. So now I will just initialize properties. And by the way, if you didn't know this shortcut, it was Alt-Enter, and it added activities here, and it also created it here. So this opens my method for adding activities from all the places, from all the modules. But this is just an array, right? So someone could add anything into this array. So what is important is to validate that they added only the objects of post-registration activity interface. So let's create some validate activities action. It will be void. And let's just do a quick check for each activities as activity. If activity is not of type post-registration activity interface, if it is not, then we will throw invalid argument exception saying wrong object type. So this is a very simple validation. So if from many places people are adding activities to our class using DI, and we are quickly checking if they are of correct type. So now we have the activities. So let's go here and let's create a loop with these activities. So for each activities as activity, at first we have to check my PHP storm is is not giving me any advices what to put here. And why is that? Because the activities are simple array. So I can tell him, hey, this is not a simple array. This is a post-registration activity interface, an array of post-registration activity interface objects. So now, I guess it should, you can see, now it magically knows what's inside. So at first, I will check if it is applicable, if activity is applicable. Sorry, I missed if activity is applicable. And if it is, then I will execute the activity. And this would be it. So now what we need to do is to move all of these guys to their own classes that implements this post-registration activity interface. So let's go one by one. I'll create a new folder here, post-registration activity. By the way, it is completely fine to create whatever folders you want. You don't need to put everything inside model. Not everything is model. So if you have something that you can name, you can just create a folder for it wherever you want. Okay, and let's start with the first one. So this is some Otter activity. Let's just call it Otter, and it will implement this post-registration activity interface. Yes, this one. So I will add this. I will clean it a little bit. And now is applicable and execute. So let's go back here. What I am checking here, I am checking if the email address well, if it ends with SwiftOtter.com. But where is the email coming from? So it is coming from the request. And you can see here that first name is coming also from the request. Here, some information is coming from session. And here, some information is coming from session as well. But all of them, if you can see, all of them has something to do with the customer. Here is customer ID. Here is customer first name. Here is customer email. So that tells me that most probably we should use customer model as an argument here. So let's do it. Customer model. Customer. So let's go back to our Otter activity. I have to add this customer here. And now my check, I will copy paste it from here. I will do it like this, and I will just switch email variable to customer get email. So this is our first check, and then execute. And for execute, I will copy paste this. All right, and of course it will not work because here there is no manager in this class. So I need to add this manager in constructor. So I take it from here, it's manager interface. Okay, and by the way, I don't like the name manager because it says nothing about what manager it is. So I will rename it to message manager. It's much better. I initialize it and just change the name here. And we are done with the first action. All right. So let's go with another one. Another one is this special Michał promo. Well, I could just copy paste the author and change to Michał promo. And here, Michał promo. All right, and let's see what check is here. Here the check is simple. If first name equals Michał. So let's put it here. And of course, we need to change first name to customer at this first name. And what we will execute is this code. So copy paste it. I will switch manager to message manager, and now I need to add this search criteria builder, rule repository, coupon factory, and coupon. And this is it. So let's make some space here. All right. And now, by the way, this coupon class, this is a coupon resource. So I don't like the name coupon here. I will rename it coupon resource. So we are not mistaking it with coupon model, for example. And now let's initialize all the properties. This is very nice. I'm not sure if you know about this feature, but I love it a lot. It saves so much time. Okay, and I renamed coupon resource to coupon resource, so I need to rename it here. All right, and the second one is finished. So let's remove it from here. Now the next one. This is 10th customer something. So let's copy this author again. And customer. Yep, then customer. And now what the check is, it is this. Of course, we don't have session here. We have customer. So let's use customer object get ID. And by the way, I don't like using double equals. I love to use triple to be very exact. And I know that customer model is not always returning integer. So I will just put int here. Thanks to that, it is always integer, and I can use triple equal sign. Okay, so this is our is applicable. And now what's here? Here we are getting some URL and then passing it to to result. So I need this this page, whatever it is. So let me copy paste it from here. This page. We don't need this manager, so I'll remove it. Video. And now, what is this page? This page is some helper. So let me rename it to page helper. Not mistake it with page model or page anything. Okay, so I have this page helper. So I have the URL. And now the tricky thing, because what is the result? It is not injected here in any way. The result is taken from here. So that shows us that most probably we should add this result into our execute. So our execute method is able to mess up with the result. So it can set redirect or some stuff like that. So let's do it. So this result is of redirect type. Let's add it here. So now if we go to our Michał promo, we will see that there is an error. So we will add it here as well. And we will add it here. And we will add it here. Okay, and now we have result, and the URL is set on the result object, and we are done with this 10th customer. Okie dokie. So the last one, and the last one is about some first customers promo. So let's it is similar to Michał promo, I think. So let's copy this one. First customers promo. And now is applicable customer ID is lower or equal than equal or lower than 20. Customer get ID. It's not needed to add this integer because it will be because we are doing this, it will be converted to integer anyway, but I simply like to do it. And then this thing here, and we can see coupon and manager are not okay because we changed the name of coupon to coupon resource and of manager to message manager. All right, so I guess this one is finished. So I can remove it. And now what we can see here, our PHP storm is showing us that there is some problem here because there is no customer parameter there. So let's get this customer. But before we do this, we can remove some stuff from constructor because we are not using these things anymore. So actually, we are not using this and this. I will leave session because we will need it just in a second. Session activities, all right. I always like to do this kind of cleanup. Okay, it looks much better now. Oh, I removed message manager and we need it for the first check. So let me quickly add it. Manager interface. Manager message manager. Initialize it. Okay, it's good now. And now we have to get customer here. So what will we do? We'll get customer from session. That's why I didn't remove session object. Get customer. All right. And execute method is missing result. So we will give the result. All right. Some additional cleanup. We don't need this doc block at all because all the params are typed here. The return type is also here. So these are just some line of comments that are not needed. At the same time, I left here this guy because it is extending information about this array. So we know that inside are these kind of objects. But other than this one param, I removed all the others to basically not have a mess in my code. All right, and the last thing that is missing, because everything is fine. We create 4 classes, we create API, but we need now to add these classes into this activities array, and we can do it. We can do it from here. So how is this class named? Let's copy the reference. And inside activities, we will have some array of items. And let's start. Let's start from top. And actually, the sort order is not important here, but if you, for any feature like that, if you need sort order mechanism, then it's a good thing because DI.XML has this feature. So you have this out of the box. All right. It will be here. Let's name it like this. And here the exercise type will be object. And now I will just duplicate it and put here Michał Promo, Otter, and customer. Okay. So if I didn't do any mistake, it should work. But before I try it live, let's remove the old plugin. It was this one. Actually, just the definition of the plugin, that the class will be still there. And now before we check this, we have to clean some cache. config flash should be enough. All right, let's go back to our Luma. Let's sign out, regenerate the cache, and let's create a new account. Michał Biarda, email, maybe this time some Gmail account, because why not? And please keep your fingers crossed that it just works. Yay! So as you can see, we got first customer wow promotion. We got Michał promotion. We didn't get Otter message because I used gmail.com, and we are not redirected to the to a CMS page because we are no longer 10th customer, we are 11th customer. Okay, let me check the timing. We still have 14 minutes, but I would love to have a few minutes for QA session. So I will just wrap up and tell you what else could we do. So we had this large spaghetti code, and we converted it to this small part of code. And what it does, it gets some activity classes that are injected using constructor, using Magento DI XML, and it is running each activity in the loop. Each of the activities has their own class, and all of them are implementing the same interface. So now, if anyone from third party or from everywhere wanted to add their own action, they can simply do it using DI XML in their module, because they can do this and add their own activity in this activities array. So our module is open for extension, but it is closed for changing. So you don't need to touch this code in order to extend it, in order to add some additional features to it. And also, if we have a new task, for example, our manager wants to log every activity, we can just inject here a logger and put some logging activity here, just in one place. Also, third party can easily extend our activities, because if, for example, they want to change these first customers promo to be available not for first 20 customers, but for first 100 customers, they can create a plugin for our is applicable, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, in how much? Half an hour, maybe? We refactored the spaghetti code that hasn't been extendable. That was a total mess, and that would be very complex to create some automatic tests for it. We transferred it to a very nice looking code that is self-descriptive. If you just go and see the class names, you automatically knows what it does, and it just looks much better, in my opinion. All right, so I also said that I will show you what else could we do, and it is just one small thing, but we don't have time for it right now, because you probably noticed that this first customer promo and Michał promo are almost the same. So what I would do is I would refactor this. I would put it into another class, something like I don't know, run promo activity, and I will I would put this as an argument, because you can notice that here is Michał promo, here is Michał promo, and here is first customers promo, but other than that, they are the same. So I would do this, and also most probably even there, I would extract this part of code, making a reusable action, something like get coupon code by rule name. So this could be a very nice class that could be used by other modules, which is cool. All right, Joseph, I think I'm done. So we can go to QA.
Fantastic. That was really, really great, Michał. Thank you for sharing that. It was fun to see. Normally, if I'm giving up like a presentation, I don't get to see like the progress of start to finish. But as I was watching, you just like, wow, that is really cool. And that was I like how you use the I think that could somewhat be called the composite design pattern to abstract everything out into its own little pieces that each one of them was usable in the grand scheme of things. So very, very nice use of DIXML as well as shortcuts. So and great shout out on the Magento plugin. So thank you for that. Does anybody have questions? That was a lot to take in. So it was brilliant advice and well done and easy to follow. So again, thank you, Michał, for your hard work in doing this and sharing how to clean up spaghetti code.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I'm very glad that it worked without any error.
I know.
It is impossible.
There's no guarantee. Even no matter how much preparation you do, is no guarantee it's going to work properly, and it did for you. So that's good. That's good. Oh, fantastic. And just as a reminder for everybody, I'm going to pop this up on the screen. What Michał did is the project he was working with was the Spaghetti Code Ninja training. So feel free to go there, clone that, and use that as your base for your work. Oh, Deepak, I got that shared already. Fantastic. Man,
yes, and I will add one thing. In this repository, there are two branches. The master branch has the spaghetti code, and the refactor branch has the end result of the refactoring. So that the end result is a little bit different than ours, because I also refactored these few things that I mentioned at the end, and also I guess I named some things a little bit different. But
the concept is the same.
Yeah, but concept is the same.
Yeah. Awesome. Danish, hey, hi from Pakistan. Good to see you here. All right, so just a minute or two more for questions. Otherwise, we'll sign off here. It was really exciting to see all of you here. It was very well attended across all of our different platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and I'm missing YouTube. That's right, the most important one of all, YouTube. So it was wonderful having you all here. Thank you for joining. Any final questions? Oh yes, Rupesh. Good. Oh, we got a question here, so I'm going to throw this up here. Michał, can you please talk about the next 3 points of the solid principle? I think those are in your slides, weren't they?
Yes. So there's this Liskov substitution, interface segregation, dependency inversion, and the two last are easiest to describe. Basically, the interface segregation is about having a lot of small interfaces instead of large interfaces. So, for example, if you have, I don't know, some kind of file interface, and file can be downloadable, can be you can do many things with the file. It is better to have interface for each action, because then when you are implementing it, when you are creating concrete classes for it, and it tends it may happen that some type of files are not able to do some actions. Then you would need to simply throw exceptions to fulfill the interface. So what is better is to have these small interfaces, and then check if the object is of some interface type. So this is it very quickly. And dependency inversion is about not depending on something more specific than you. So always depend on something more generic than the class in which you are.
Well, and I
So,
think,
for example,
well, I was going to say, I think you basically demonstrated both of those to an extent. Not 100%. Certainly dependency inversion, because you were iterating through that one, the instances that all implement that interface. It doesn't matter what the interface does, if I'm following what you're saying here correctly.
yeah, that's right. But the other example for dependency inversion would be, for example, if you are writing a resource model, you should not inject there, for example, a model factory, because model is more generic than resource model. So stuff like that. And the list of substitution, unfortunately, we don't have time for it. And to be honest, I don't know this one pretty much. It is tricky. I know that my friend Navar wanted me to say things about this, but sorry, I can't. No one is perfect.
This was good. This was very good. Thank you for coming on, Michał, and sharing your experience here with solid code. And like I said earlier, I have been the recipient of your suggestions, and there's been very good suggestions for me. So thank you for coming on. Thank you to everyone out there who is participating in this conversation. It was an absolute pleasure having Michał on here. It was a great encouragement to me. And I hope it was, even if you didn't learn like, oh, so there's nothing new in this. Okay, fine. Great. Well, I can guarantee you there's probably one or two things in there that you're like, yeah, you kind of been letting slip a little bit for the past 6 months or something. It's a good reminder to get in there and to focus and to build that solid code. Because again, like I like to say, done a talk a couple times about this. You are going to regret it in the future if you build spaghetti code yourself. It's going to come back and bite you one way or another. And Michał has definitely shared with that. So thank you. Many thanks to Michał for coming on. I'll let you say goodbye to everyone, Michał, and then we're gonna sign off. So thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for the investment in time here. It was a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph, for hosting me. And I would just emphasize that, guys, if you liked it, please share it with your teammates, because this is really some very cool bite of knowledge.
Absolutely. This is very good. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.